look at South America. And again, I have placed the images for these civilizations on the map to show their approximate location, where all of the ruins are found. We know much more about these societies in the Andes Mountains than we do in other parts of South America, so we are going to focus on these groups today. So we are going to talk about first the Chavín cult, we'll talk about the Moche, we'll talk about the Chimu, we will then talk about Tiwanaku, which is actually in this part of Bolivia, then we'll talk about Wari, and then finally the Inca. So you'll be able to see all of those images as we go along. Looking at South America. South American civilizations are known for four things. The first thing that South American civilizations are known for are the issues with geography. The mountains discouraged a lot of interaction and communication, and therefore that made unification of different groups more difficult. The second thing South American civilizations are known for was the use of irrigation techniques for agriculture. Agriculture started around 8000 BC here, but it's more difficult given the lack of adequate rainfall. Therefore, more extensive irrigation networks were needed. The third thing that South American civilizations were known for were knotted cords that were used for communication. Instead of writing, people would carry these knotted cords of various colors and various lengths to communicate with one another. They're called quipu when we talk about the Inca. The fourth thing that South American civilizations were known for is the use of the abundant metals in the area, in particular gold, silver, and copper. So those are four things that South American civilizations are known for. The earliest societies themselves appear to have been based on a religious belief system known as the Chavín cult. This religious belief system was popular from 900 to 800 BC in Peru. The cult seems to have arisen when maize became the most important crop. There are artifacts and temples and cities associated with the cult that house as many as 10,000 people. This is an image of one of the artifacts that has been left behind from the Chavín cult. With the rise of cities, you start to see the development of regional states in the highlands, the coastline, and the Central Valley. One group in particular were the Mochica, based in the valley of the Moche River. Artwork and pottery left behind reveal their society, their everyday life, and deities that they worshipped. Rulers, ambassadors, even beggars are all depicted with a very clear hierarchy. You can see that some of these images have much more detail than some of the others. Hunting parties and women in a textile factory, all of these things are memorialized in the pottery. The largest Mochica site was Papa Grande and dates to 700 AD. Just one of the many large states, but one for which we have many artifacts. In the coastal lowlands, the Chimu lived. These 9th century peoples had a clear religious and political structure. Leaders were godlike figures who commanded an area that was larger than the Moche and practiced human sacrifice. Their capital was Chan Chan, and it was here that the political leaders and the nobility resided among traders. The ruins reveal markets and inns called caravansaries and provide evidence of the importance of trade by llama in gold, silver, and copper. The extensive irrigation networks reveal issues in obtaining and diverting water to fields with the use of canals. Chan Chan was not large, but was enclosed by an adobe wall 8 square miles in diameter. Here is a picture of what is left of that wall. In the highlands, the rainfall is more erratic and the growing seasons are shorter. Here, raised field agriculture predominated, organized by family groups. They also conducted trade by llama. The groups here dominated the region based on trade and religious ideology. Tiwanaku in particular emerged as an important trading center from 500 to 800. This small centralized state had a population of approximately 60,000 and was led by a small priestly clan or royal dynasty. The religion appears similar to the Inca with one notable exception. Tiwanaku did practice human sacrifice. We know religious practices were performed and influenced others, as art and architectural styles found at Tiwanaku are found among others in the region. But the rarity of images of weapons or warfare in the art and the absence of forts suggest the dominance was much more economic and cultural in nature. Here are a couple of images of what is left of Tiwanaku. 400 miles to the north was Wari. Wari dates from the 6 and 700s. This society did control their domain by force. Through a series of walled settlements that ran the length of modern Peru, they extracted tribute from most likely unwilling subjects. Here is an image of one of the Wari sites. Wari's geography was much more arid, being lower in altitude, and demanded more extensive irrigation networks, including terraced fields and canals. After a prolonged drought, it is believed, they went into decline, and by the 800s, the settlements that they had controlled began fighting each other. That is, until the Inca. The Inca are the ones to unify these regions in the Andes Mountains. At the time of their rise, agricultural production was on the rise, and new crops were being utilized, resulting in a larger population. In 1438, the Incan began to consolidate their control through a series of military campaigns. By 1500, they dominate with a military and administrative elite. They controlled their subjects through bureaucrats that communicated using quipu, those knotted and dyed cords of varying lengths and colors. The quipu were carried by messengers who would race through the Andes on roads constructed by coerced mita labor. Mita, M-I-T-A. Mita labor was the Incan practice of requiring 1/7 of the male population in villages they controlled to work for them. Back at the capital of Cusco, palaces would house an elaborate social hierarchy that displayed their status in a variety of ways, including what we would now call gauges, creating large holes in the earlobe of the ear. In fact, the larger the hole, the higher in status one was in the Incan hierarchy. Their religious practices centered around their two principal deities, Viracocha and Inti, to whom they sacrificed animals, not humans. The Inca had built a large and complex society that would also face the European onslaught. Their most well-known site is Machu Picchu, which is shown here. A marvel of engineering. The history of the Americas can be very challenging. Historians and anthropologists work in tandem to adequately relay how people migrated here, what they did when they settled here, and the obstacles that they faced over time. The people of the Americas adapted and formed complex societies and advanced civilizations long before the arrival of Europeans. They built large cities in this new world and left behind extensive artwork. But the arrival of the Old World of Europe would prove devastating. Most specifically, the arrival of smallpox, which in time would decimate Native American populations by 90%. The story of Europe, that old world, is what we will be looking at in our next discussion board.